What if the end of World War II was not the beginning of peace, but the start of something even darker? For most people, the end of the war means victory, relief, and survival. But in this timeline, the final collapse of Nazi Germany creates a world even more unstable than the one we know. Cities are destroyed, governments are shattered, and millions of people are trapped between armies, ideology, and revenge. By the time the fighting reaches its final phase, no one is really winning anymore. Germany is too broken to save itself, but still dangerous enough to cause one last wave of destruction. The regime turns desperate. Orders become more brutal. Retreat becomes chaos. The war does not end in a clean surrender. It ends in a collapse that ripples across the entire continent. Roads are filled with refugees. Railways are destroyed. Communication breaks down. Food disappears. In some places, people do not even know who is in charge anymore. And that is where the real danger begins. Because when a regime falls apart this violently, it does not leave behind peace. It leaves behind a vacuum.
In this darker ending, Germany's defeat does not create a stable post-war order. It creates a larger crisis. The fall of the Nazi regime triggers a race for control over territory, industry, and influence. That means the war's final chapter is no longer just about defeating Germany. It becomes about deciding who inherits the ruins. And in the middle of that struggle are the people history usually forgets. Families fleeing bombed-out cities. Soldiers returning to homes that no longer exist. Children growing up in occupied zones, surrounded by rubble and silence. Technology changes too. In a world this unstable, military research does not stop. It accelerates. Rockets, weapons, surveillance, and nuclear competition all move faster, because every side believes the next conflict may be even bigger than the last. And that changes everything, because in this timeline, the post-war world is not built on confidence. It is built on fear. Fear of another collapse. Fear of another dictatorship. Fear that the ruins of Europe will not stay contained. What makes this scenario so terrifying is not just the scale of destruction. It is the fragility that comes after it. So when we ask, what if the end of World War II had been even darker? The answer is not just more ruins. It is a world where peace never fully arrives. This is not the ending history gave us. This is the ending where the war leaves a deeper scar. Because sometimes the most dangerous moment is not the war itself. It is what the war leaves behind.
The war is over, but the world is not at peace. In the ruins of Europe, the real struggle begins. Whoever controls the aftermath controls the future. That is why the final collapse of Nazi Germany does not end the danger. It multiplies it. The continent is broken. Borders are unstable. Armies are moving from every direction. The Soviet Union is pushing west. The Western allies are trying to secure their zones. And between them lies a shattered Germany that no longer has the strength to rule itself. What remains is not a nation, but a battleground for influence. For civilians, this is not politics. It is survival. Families are fleeing destroyed cities. Trains are packed with refugees. Food is short. Homes are gone. Entire regions are cut off from communication and order. In some places, people do not even know who is in control anymore. They only know that the old world has ended. And that vacuum is exactly what makes this moment so dangerous. When a regime falls apart this completely, it leaves behind more than ruins. It leaves behind power struggles, revenge, occupation, and fear. Every major force moving into Europe believes it is preventing chaos, but in reality, each one is helping create a new one. The war may be finished, but the next conflict is already forming inside its ashes. Germany itself becomes the warning sign. A country that once tried to dominate the continent is now reduced to smoke, rubble, and silence. Its defeat does not bring relief right away. It brings confusion. It brings reprisals. It brings a desperate race to divide what is left before someone else gets there first. At the same time, the world is changing faster than anyone expected. Military science does not stop when the fighting ends. It speeds up. Rockets, advanced weapons, surveillance, and nuclear research all become priorities because every side understands the same truth. The next war may be even bigger than the last. The post-war period is not a break in history. It is preparation for the next confrontation. That is what makes this alternate ending so dark. It is not just about destruction. It is about what destruction teaches the world. Fear becomes normal. Distrust becomes policy. Borders harden. Governments rearm. And people who survive the war are left to live inside a new order built from its remains. For ordinary people, history does not feel like a grand strategy. It feels like cold nights, empty streets, missing family members, and the constant question of what comes next. They are not thinking about alliances or global power. They are thinking about whether tomorrow will be safer than today. In this timeline, the answer is almost always no. So the end of World War II does not become a clean ending. It becomes the start of a colder age. A world divided by fear, shaped by occupation, and haunted by the ruins of a conflict that refused to die quietly. Because sometimes the most important moment is not when the war ends. It is what the war leaves behind.